Norman, friend of the program in Tampa, he said, the AP poll already has SEC bias. After watching the Sunday show, I'm starting to think you do as well. Don't forget other leagues exist too. Norman, I know other leagues exist. I know that because we talk about the other leagues on the show. But I assume, Norman, that you're referring to how disproportionately SEC heavy the Sunday show was. It absolutely was. Minute by minute, it was probably our most SEC heavy show that we've ever done here. But I ask you, Norman, did you look at the slate last week? Sunday's a reaction show. So we're reacting to the most noteworthy games. Did you look at last week's slate? Remember what we're doing here. We're doing a national college football show. And look, I've told you my perfect worldview is the Pac-12 still exists, and I'm talking about Pac-12 games, and I'm talking about games all over the country. That wasn't the reality of the landscape last week. So last week, we had Ole Miss, Oklahoma. We had Auburn, Arkansas. We had Bama, South Carolina, Missouri, Vanderbilt, A&M, LSU. That was the slate that the SEC offered. And we did reactions, I think, to all those games on Sunday. I've asked several people, because I've gotten this feedback a lot this week. Where else would you have gone? You're hosting a college football show. It's a national show on a Sunday. Where else would you have gone? Would you really have dedicated 8+ minutes to UCLA, Indiana? Would you have done it for Brigham Young, Iowa State? Even as your viewership indicates that people didn't really have a lot of interest in you talking about that. I'm being honest with you. I don't stack the show for me. If I stack the show for me, I talk Iowa State until your ears bled. I don't stack the show for me. I format it for you. We fall right in line with what your interest says you want to listen to. Would you have done something? Would you have done 8 minutes on Wisconsin, Oregon? Ohio State was on a bye. We couldn't talk about them. Northwestern Nebraska? Where else would you have gone is what I'm trying to ask. So it was SEC heavy. It's not biased. Contrary to semi-popular belief out there, I'd much rather spread the peanut butter across the bread than have big globs of it in the southeastern corner. It's pretty vivid. I reflect your preferences. I don't know what else to tell you. And if you don't believe me on that, if I got SEC bias on this show, you do as well. I am not a big TV ratings guy. We hardly ever talk about them on the show. But from a viewership perspective, from an interest perspective, the Big Ten has killed this year. The Big Ten schedule just sucks this year. It's been terrible. I used to work at CBS. We had the SEC Game of the Week contract for a long time. And towards the time that I left there, they shifted over to having a Big Ten contract. They don't even get their first pick of that game. The CBS 3:30 Game of the Week is a historic inventory piece on like a Saturday slate of games. I love it. I think it's second to none production-wise. Friend of the program, Jenny Dell, on the sideline. Craig Silver in the truck. Love all of them. Love all those guys and girls. This has been their lineup so far this year. Nevada, Penn State, Oklahoma State, Oregon, USC, Purdue. We were at Michigan, Nebraska. Ohio State, Washington. Solid game. Penn State at UCLA. Indiana at Oregon was a really good game. Ohio State at Wisconsin, no one watched it. Minnesota at Iowa, that's for Floyd of Rosedale. That's been the lineup. The Big Ten has not held up their end of the bargain, which is ironic because as of right now, I think the two best teams in the country are in the Big Ten. Oregon may end up still being one of the best teams in the country. It's not a knock on the top of the conference, but the depth is not there. Wisconsin has not done the job. Michigan State, Nebraska, these teams that should be better than they are, they're not. And as a result, hey, wait just a second. Appreciate you guys watching. Most of you are subscribed. If you're not, please do so. It's free. It helps us keep the show free, and that's how we do college football year round. All right, back to the video. It does not compare from an audience interest perspective. Does this make sense to anyone? It's not what I want to be. It's what is. I just swear to you guys, if you look at the numbers I look at, our internals, I don't think you do the show any differently. This weekend, by the way, is a really good example of this, of how the SEC is extremely deep, but it's compacted. So if you want to argue with me, oh, dude, Ohio State's better than any team in the SEC, I think you're right. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about what people are interested in. And we're talking about the depth overall of the SEC. That thing's so compacted right now. Here's a good example. Ohio State plays Penn State this weekend. Georgia plays Florida this weekend. Okay, so Ohio State and Georgia are two teams very much alive in the national championship picture, in the SEC and Big Ten championship pictures, and Penn State's season is done and Florida's season is done. The spread on Ohio State, Penn State is 20.5. Do you know what the spread on Georgia, Florida is? It's 7.5. So even the games featuring the number 2 or 3 SEC team versus the number 9 SEC team are such that anything could happen on that given Saturday. That's not the case in the Big Ten. It's just not the case. Ohio State's a great team, probably the best in the country right now. I don't know, like, when's the last time we even did a game breakdown on their game? So also, like, if you look at the depth of those leagues, the SEC number 8 through 13 is Missouri, Oklahoma, Florida, LSU, Auburn, South Carolina. South Carolina's the tail end there. I just watched South Carolina play Alabama. I think South Carolina may have had the 3 best athletes on the field. Dylan Stewart is on South Carolina's team. Lenore Sellers is over there. Nick Harbor's over there. I'm not saying that about Rutgers. That's the 13th best team in the Big Ten. Or Maryland, or Illinois, or UCLA, or Washington, or Northwestern. That's 8 through 13 in the Big Ten. So it's not really comparable. And when you've got matchups and the SEC has not, or the Big Ten rather, has not developed better depth of interest, I don't know what we're supposed to do. It's not just a Big Ten problem. The ACC's just as much to blame. So conference expansion is really to blame, more so than anything. But dynamic rosters, engaged fan bases, organic interest, that's how we're stacking the show. So if there's bias there, that's bias. I've already told you what my dream world in college football is. My dream world is USC's on fire, Oregon's on fire, Washington's on fire, Arizona State's rolling, Nebraska's a national title contender, Miami's got their act together, so does Florida State, so does Clemson, Virginia Tech is back, Michigan State is doing what they're supposed to, Wisconsin's doing what they're supposed to, Penn State's doing what they're supposed to. That's not the world we live in right now. It's just not 2025. That's not the world we live in right now. So I'm gonna say this. I don't mean it to be like negative or rude or anything, but this platform is free for anyone to do any kind of show they want. You can start yours today if you want. And you want to start one and you want to go cover the games that you want to cover, the teams you want to cover, have at it. I may even go subscribe and listen to it. But the way we do this show is I follow you. I follow you. And when you show me that you're not really interested in something, I'm not going to continue to put it in the show. What we do on Sunday nights is we take the games that we're not going to give individual breakdowns to, and I do like added takeaways. And we'll just hammer through them because we hit a lot of stuff on Sunday. Like anyone who says we don't talk about anything other than SEC is just lying. They're just lying. And so I don't really need to defend us against that. But yeah, it was a very SEC heavy show Sunday. I don't know how I would have done the show any other way.